My sermons tend to lean more towards raising awareness of unfelt needs. Biggest reason I believe this is that I feel that our congregation's biblical literacy isn't at the level we would hope for it to be or we think it's at. I would say it's willingly safe to assume that most Christians in your church have not read the Bible from front to back, but that's obviously, it's not a requirement of Christianity, but it does give me a personal responsibility as a pastor to help raise people's biblical literacy, to help them understand the Word of God. It's an extremely challenging book to read, and it was a failure to understand the Word of God and to comprehend the Word of God that led me to walk away from my faith in my teens, was my inability to comprehend the Bible. So I want to be a part of revealing the wisdom that can be found in the Word of God to my pastors, and I think, or to my congregation. I think the best way to do this, or a big way to do this, is by preaching towards unfelt needs. You know, many scholars today say that Christianity in the West is shallow and is soft. And one of the biggest reasons they'll give for this is because most of our needs, basic needs in the West of food, water, shelter, are for the most part met. And that then leads people to praying for things that aren't necessarily biblical needs, things like a new car or a significant other or winning the lottery. And those aren't really needs. So we want to make sure, though, we're aware, however, of whether or not our congregation's basic needs are being met. And we would be coming across completely insensitive if we were preaching to folks whose basic needs aren't being met on unfelt needs and assuming that they have their felt needs met. But we can't. So you can't have that assumption when you walk in the room. You need to know your congregation and know whether or not what's the appropriate way to preach to them is. But ultimately, I feel like that focusing on the Word of God ensures that we're placing God at the center of our lives, and instead of ourselves at the center. And God knows our needs better than we do. And His Word helps meet every one of our spiritual needs. And it also shines light on the blind spots where our true needs lie.